Season no bueno. Max, I'll start with you here. Do you feel like Booker is wasting his time with the Phoenix Suns?
Is it time to stop doubting them?
This is their longest winning streak in about 5 years. So this is not typically who they've been and who they are, but this is who they are right now. This isn't the Washington Wizards. This is a team that has a lot of talent on there that can cause some problems.
6 to play. Booker, this is for the win. Got it! Wow!
Are the Phoenix Suns a legit team now? For the last few years, the Suns have been meddling in mediocrity. Well, not even mediocrity. They've been near the bottom of the barrel for a long time. On one hand, it seems like they've been accumulating some high-quality draft picks. They've been developing and getting better, and it's the process that every rebuilding team has to go through. On the other hand, things like poor management, subpar player development, questionable draft choices, and having 5 different coaches since 2015. These things have stunted the team's rebuilding process, and the lack of consistency in the organization is quite apparent. So that's why, coming into the 2020 quarantine games, nobody gave the Suns a chance in hell. In what seemed like the most magical run in Disney World, how did the Suns almost manage to pull off the impossible? Everyone thought that it was a waste of time that they were even there. A team that nobody even looked at before these games started, cause honestly, how likely was it for the freaking Suns to win 8 games in a row? Not very. Yet they were so close to making it. How's it going, folks? My name's Andy, and today let's talk about the Phoenix Suns and their improbable run in the NBA bubble. This is what the standings looked like before the NBA quarantine games started. The Suns were the 13th seed in the Western Conference, with a massive hill to climb. And this is what the standings looked like after they finished their final regular season games at Disney World. They went 8-0, the best record out of all teams there. But Memphis had the tiebreaker over them, so they were the ones who had a chance to play into the playoffs, which they ended up blowing. For the Suns, there were various reasons why they played so well, so let's start with the obvious one: Devin Booker. Now, Booker had a phenomenal rookie season regardless, making his first All-Star team, and he was always on the border of becoming a superstar, but he just wasn't there yet. That changed in August. In those 8 games, he averaged over 30 points, 6 assists, and shot at a very high efficiency, much better than what he usually shoots at. It seems like he was just on a hot streak. And he does play like that occasionally every season, so maybe the sample size is too small to say he could actually keep up this level of play. While I do agree that the sample size of 8 games is too small, there's also a lot of good things that we saw from him that we usually don't see. For example, his turnovers. That's always been a thorn on his side due to sheer carelessness. Hence why he's been hovering around 4 turnovers a game for the past 3 seasons. But in the bubble, Booker took a lot better care of the ball, became more attentive on offense to not make errant passes that he usually does. It was common to see him in the regular season to just force himself to shoot the ball even if it's not the best shot. Essentially, he had too much tunnel vision. But now, his shot selection has also changed, attacking the rim and taking more mid-range shots, which he seemed very comfortable with, much more so than jacking up threes. Booker's also been moving more off the ball. At times in the NBA bubble, he looked Ray Allen-esque, relying more on his teammates' passes as opposed to his own ISO game. For his career, only 21% of his shots came at the rim, but that number increased to 30% in the bubble, as it played a huge part in his increased efficiency. All these things are not just because he had a hot streak, they're fundamental aspects of his game that he improved on, and will certainly maintain as the years progress. Booker's improved offense leads to the entire team's offense running better, which is evident by their much better offensive rating compared to earlier months. Before the quarantine, the Suns had an offensive rating of 110.2, just 16th in the NBA. But in the 8 bubble games, their rating was 120.4. That would be good for second in the NBA. Next, let's talk about some underappreciated players. These guys, Ricky Rubio, Aaron Baines, and Dario Saric joined the Suns in the 2019 offseason, and this was their first year playing together. When they were signed, nobody thought much of it. I mean, all of them are solid players, but can they actually lift the Suns up? Can they really help the Suns to the point where they become a competitive team? Turns out, the answer is yes. In an article from Mike Prada, he discussed how underrated and important the role players are. Quote, Rubio offers much needed ball handling competence and passing wizardry, while other veterans like Dario Saric, Aaron Baines, and Frank Kaminsky are more willing and able to perform tasks needed to maximize Booker's shine. Even the remaining young players have skill sets designed to play off a lead scorer like Booker. Rubio is definitely the most important addition since the Suns had a string of terrible point guards in recent history. While he's not a star by any means, he's consistent, he's stable, and he knows how to play point guard. He knows when to get his teammates involved, and he's a leader. That's why he has the best individual net rating on the team. In every single lineup the Suns play, the ones with Rubio are always the best. Now, we gotta talk about the development of their other young studs, namely DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges. In the past, arguably the biggest downfall of the Suns has been their draft choices, especially with their high draft picks like Dragan Bender and Josh Jackson or Alex Len. You could say that all of them were busts, and the team made some mistakes choosing them. But with Ayton and Bridges, they've been so much better. Defensively, Bridges covers for Booker's lack of defense very nicely, while Ayton recovered from injury and it didn't look like he missed a beat. Both Bridges and Ayton have been crucial to the Suns' defensive improvement, going from 19th in defensive rating to 4th in the bubble. Cam Johnson is another important piece since he's a big man who's a fantastic three-point shooter. When you look at the way this team is built, it's basically all centered around Devin Booker. As Mike Prada mentioned earlier, with every player being able to shoot and slash to the rim, it opens up so much space for Booker to score. In my opinion, this is the main difference that we saw in their quarantine games versus the rest of their season. For the first time in years, it looks like the Suns have an actual identity and game plan. No longer are they a bunch of misfits trying to fit in, but instead a bunch of players trying really hard to work together. That's what being a competent team is all about. While the players have all been doing well, Coach Monty Williams deserves some credit too. As I mentioned earlier, the Suns went through like 5 different coaches in 5 years, but this time, I think Monty is their guy. The organization respects him, the players respect him, and he's known to be a very flexible and adaptable coach. That's the most important quality of a coach these days, to be able to adjust on the fly and know when and where to make adjustments. In fact, Monty was the guy who encouraged Booker to be the center of the Suns, and made sure that all the new players acquired and all the role players on the team must fit alongside his playstyle. Even though the Suns failed to reach their goal this season, Monty will most likely remain as the long-term coach. For once, the Suns did something right. He's a great motivator, a great players coach, and literally everyone on the team loves him.
It's just been an unreal ride, right? And we got to go back to the hotel and see what happens. I got to tell you guys, man, I love you. I do. I don't care what happens tonight. I know what I got in this room. It has been cool for me to be with y'all every day, to watch you guys work and battle and gain the respect of your peers the way you have on this trip. We're not the Suns of old. You've been through a lot. You've been through a lot. And it's hard to play the way you play every single night and not get the respect that you deserve. Guess what? You got it.
Anyway, that sums up the video. The real question remains though, can the Suns keep this up? We've seen teams go on hot streaks all the time, but it's the consistency that matters, the stability and steady play that separates the good teams from the bad teams. But this improvement from the Suns were all based on adjustments and gameplay changes. It wasn't just a hot streak. Their whole playstyle looks different than it used to be. That's why I think they could maintain the same level. Will they make the playoffs next year? Yeah, I think so. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on the Phoenix Suns. Where do you see them headed towards in the next few seasons? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.